Hey, and welcome to
Haunted Hangs Podcast Edition.
Today we're going to be talking about ghost stories from Reddit.
Yeah, so we did a little bit of research and found a couple spooky stories to try to scare each other with. Or, just something to send a little shiver down your spine. And we're going to see who has the scariest story today. You guys can tell us in the comments down below if this is on YouTube.
Also, give us a like and a subscribe.
Yeah, or if it's on Spotify, I don't think you can tell us down below, but hey, go to YouTube and then you can type down below in the comments. Shall we just get right into it?
Yeah, I've got a story for you.
Okay.
So this story isn't from Reddit, so I'm already kind of failing this assignment.
Boo.
But it's a good story, and it inspired a very famous piece of intellectual property.
Okay.
In our cultural zeitgeist.
Okay.
So, the story starts when a family fires the nanny. And the nanny gives the boy, Robert, a doll that's made of rags and maybe filled with some type of straw. Okay. It looks very homemade. And the son gets very attached to this doll. The son's name is Robert Eugene something. Why are you shaking your head?
Because I think I know where this is going, and I'm not gonna, okay. No disrespect to you, Robert. I'm not gonna say that I do not like this doll, because I feel like he will come after me in my dreams. Continue.
Oh, well, you already know the story.
No, I've only heard, I heard about a doll and Robert, and
that's all you need.
Continue, yes.
Oh, man, should we post this on the internet then? Are we gonna get her cursed?
As long as we don't post a photo of him, I think we're okay.
I know, but what if he's transitioned into new mediums? What if Robert's into podcasts now?
Oh, God.
Okay, for all of you guys who don't know, for all of you guys at home who don't know, so the kid named Robert Eugene eventually tells his parents that he is now just Eugene and that the doll wants to start going by Robert. The parents are freaked the fuck out by that and stick him up in the attic and don't let
the boy or the doll?
The doll.
Oh, okay.
But if it was me, I would stick the boy up there too. I don't care if you're my son.
The doll is my son now.
Yes, I gave birth to Robert, and this is Robert. But they put the doll away. For years and it's never seen until their deaths, when Eugene, who's now a famous painter at this time or some type of artist, goes back up into the attic, finds it, and keeps the doll with him and his wife until his death, I think the 70s. This doll now lives in a museum and has a mind of its own. If you want to take a photo of the doll, you need to politely ask it for permission. And it needs to give you its permission. Several people have tried to circumvent this permission and have found themselves just monumentally fucked afterward. I don't even know what type of hauntings come after them, but they end up writing to the museum, begging Robert for his forgiveness. Last little anecdote about this praised doll, Robert. A security guard was working one night by himself, and the the doll, Robert, physically attacked him. Don't know how. So, security guard leaves and never comes back. Just never goes back to work.
I mean, I would do the same.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to tell any more stories. I think we've already found the scariest one. No disrespect to Robert.
We love you.
So sorry in advance. We love you.
We beg.
Can we post this?
Can we post this?
All right.
I'm looking around to see if a light flickers.
I know, or something. Well, thank you for sufficiently freaking me out in our first 15 minutes of recording.
My pleasure.
Thanks. Do you have any other parting words about Robert?
I just, beg for your forgiveness.
That's fair.
I don't really know if I've upset you at any point yet, Robert. But when it happens, please, I beg for your forgiveness.
That's fair. That's really fair.
But, to finish that out, the popular piece of intellectual property that this doll inspired is the film Child's Play, featuring a very popular doll named Chucky.
I love Chucky.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Well, maybe if he was real, in the moment, I wouldn't love him.
Right.
But I do like the films. They're very fun. Okay. I'm going to tell you one of my stories now. My longer of the two stories that I have. And this comes from our paranormal encounters. And this was from 7 days ago, so it's fresh.
Oh.
Recent and fresh. And the title is Unexplained Haunting, Mass Hallucinations, or Otherwise, I Disappeared, ?
What?
Yeah, okay. So get this. I've always said the best way for people to help you and others is to be honest and upfront. I don't know what happened to me in high school, but it wasn't natural. I'll be honest here and say I'm not lying. If my experiences can be explained in some way that isn't supernatural, that would be great. It began in high school, as far as I understand it, walking outside in senior year listening to my iPod in 2010. I was alone in a parking lot during lunch when some sheet of darkness spreads through my body. My vision doesn't just go dark, it's like a curtain was drawn in front of my eyes gradually. With it, a coldness washed over and through me, as if something I couldn't see had stepped into me. I could feel and breathe and continue to walk, so I stopped, confused. I couldn't hear anything for the moment either, as my music had stopped. Then it passed, the curtain lifted, and the warmth returned. I could hear the wind. But my iPod shut off. How? I was already somewhat of a believer of ghosts, but I was admittedly worried. Was that a real experience? Did I turn my iPod off? I had no idea. But I couldn't just ask someone. They'd think I was making something up, or else nobody would explain it. But that wasn't the end of things, because I think I accidentally brought it home with me. Every night after, for the next year, I'd see something shimmer in my mirror, moving around in my hallway. I'd look directly at it and watch it move. In the otherwise steaming shower, I'd feel a sharp nail as cold as ice trail upwards across my back as if it was teasing me.
Ooh.
I'd stare at the wall and see a solid black shadow swipe at my lights and turn them off while I'm just sitting in the room. No footsteps, no creaking, only the flip of a switch, as if they simply lived there. My family, you must understand, sleeps with their doors closed. I stay up and noises travel very easily in our house, but I never hear any footsteps. Never mind. Over time, whatever it was would become, all caps. It gradually gained color and form until I could see it in entire shape in the dark. A tall white woman with arms that were stretched to drag across the ground and flowing white loose skin and long white hair. As if it was just following gravity. It only took a human S shape here for some reason, but it wasn't a person.
Yeah.
It was as if it was pretending to try to look like one. One night, my closest friend at the time stayed for a few months after being evicted from their home. At the breakfast table, I started asking if they'd seen anything odd. They described it in perfect detail. That white wiggly thing, they called it.
That white wiggly thing?
There was nothing we could do about it. What could we have done? But it didn't stop. It got worse. One night when I was sleeping in my room, having fallen asleep with the closet light on, so as to maybe shield myself from whatever it was, I awoke to a shadow on the wall. I was facing the opposite wall from my closet light, and it was long, standing up. I blinked. I felt my arm. It was above me. I felt oddly weightless. It was my shadow. I was hanging from the ceiling.
What?
Yeah. Please believe me. Whatever it was pulling me into the ceiling by my arm. I yanked it back and fell and slammed onto my bed and nearly hit my head on my lamp. I didn't understand. How could something that defines all logic and explanation, slowly becoming more and more real with time, exist? Where did it come from? Why does it want me? Did it only start perceiving me by bumping into me in that parking lot? But it stopped when I left for university, or so I thought. A few years into my university education in another city, living out of my house, I was walking to a friend's apartment as the sun set. It was a rental in some light woodland area just off the street in a park. There were trees and single bedroom houses down there, and I had left just a few minutes after my roommate had gone. See, I wanted to finish an essay before heading out, but I changed my mind shortly after. But when I got to the wooded area, with so little light from the streets, with the sun setting, I saw in perfect detail that it had followed me and finally found me again. I was standing right there behind a tree, and that white wiggly thing had taken the shape of a full woman. It screamed into my mind an inhuman, static sound like a half-connected audio jack, and I blacked out. When I came to, the night was dark, and I was lying on the ground in a parking lot right in front of the apartments where my roommate had gone. I couldn't form thoughts in my head. It was as if I was blank and left only with the impulse to run, so I ran straight forward toward the little house I meant to reach, just 100 feet from where I was lying. My friends were there asking where I had been. They went out to look for me and couldn't find me because I had been missing for 3 hours.
Wow.
I had just vanished. And so did it. Because if it didn't just up and disappear after that, I've not seen it since. Not even after visiting back with my parents. It's like whatever that was is now free. Somewhere out there, looking like that. An almost person. Having taken something from me. I promise you this is my personal experience. I want answers. But even if you don't believe my story, it does make for a good Halloween tale. Even if I sincerely mean every word I've written here.
Wow. That's creepy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Can you imagine waking up and thinking you see something on your wall and it's actually just your shadow and you're hanging by your arm from the ceiling?
I hope I never experience that. Or else I'm calling you.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go, hell no.
That, whenever I was reading this before, and whenever I got to that part, I was like, oh my God. I don't know how that's even remotely explainable.
I also don't understand how you see the wiggly thing and you don't automatically call like some sort of rabbi.
Well, also this was in 2010.
Rabbis existed in 2010.
Yes, but like I don't think that there was like the amount of paranormal like encounters and research that there is now where someone would automatically think, oh, let's go to someone that can actually help us with this. I feel like back then maybe it was more like
maybe even like a psychic or something.
Yeah, something. Like, I don't feel like that was regularly, like, accessible, I guess, for these type of situations.
Right. Well, that's my advice.
Yeah. Yeah,
if you're not a religious person, you can, psychics also.
A medium.
Mediums.
Something. Just.
The Long Island medium.
And this is from maybe not her.
She'd only make your day scarier.
Yeah. But this was from 7 days ago, and they said it hasn't come back since. So, I mean, hopefully it doesn't come back again for them. But if it does, find a rabbi or a psychic medium.
A psychic medium. There are also the Christian version of rabbis.
Yeah, and a pastor.
Pastors.
Priest.
Yeah. I have a hard time saying pastor and not pasture.
Yeah. It kind of, it sticks together in the mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pasture.
Yep. Well, that was my story.
Oh. I have actually, my next story is a little bit of a palate cleanser.
Oh.
And it brings in a philosophical question that I want to get your input on.
Okay.
So, there's a new mom in her postpartum period.
Mm-hmm.
And she's had a really rough night with her baby. But eventually, they both fall asleep. And the baby's in her arms.
Mm-hmm.
The mom wakes up to the sensation of something gently touching her shoulder.
Mm.
And so she wakes up and she sees that her baby's head is in a position where it could potentially suffocate.
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is, do you think it's an actual ghost, like a spirit of somebody who used to walk this earth? Or do you think it is a guardian angel or God?
That's a tough question. I feel like whenever I think of guardian angels, I think of them as like ancestors. Mm-hmm. So like, to me, a guardian angel would be like a ghost or a spirit. So in that situation, I think probably a guardian angel of some sort that's like, hey.
Okay, so you think it's potentially both.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think your guardian angel can be an ancestor.
Okay.
And that's, I feel like, where my mind goes in that situation. What about you? What do you think?
I think it brings up the interesting, it brings up the other side of the coin, where we get all of these really creepy stories and really sinister things, which is important to acknowledge because, like, you and I will never touch a Ouija board.
Yeah.
That's
our spiritual compass. That's where we draw the line.
Yeah. We will not touch a Ouija board.
Yeah.
But for as much evil that there is out there, there is also good.
Yeah.
And good deeds and like people,
good energy,
spirits beyond paranormal activity, beyond the grave, that will help and look after people. Mm-hmm.
I feel like I might have told you this story before, but I always, whenever I think of like ancestors and guardian angels, I always think of when I was in college, my grandmother passed away, and I have one of her old cookbooks, and I would display it on my kitchen stand in my college apartment. And it was like a cookbook of like all of her and her friends' recipes.
Ooh.
And once a month, if I was like having a bad day or something was going wrong or something I felt like was going wrong in my life, I would walk into my apartment and the cookbook would be open to her recipe.
Aww.
So like, that's like the kind of things that I'm, like the kind of signs I'm looking out for. I feel like could be a guardian angel, could just be my grandma, could be both. Like, that's kind of what I go to when I think of that.
Oh, and like grandma beyond the grave is
still trying to make me make her recipe.
And you're like, it's funny. Not today.
I won't have chili for the 15th time.
Yeah, the gut can only handle so much.
Yeah. Before it physically cannot handle anymore.
Before your stomach acids just
like
start to
implode
burn through.
It's actually
the
like
stomach lining.
The alien from Alien, just like
Yeah.
That's what
Something
happens
like
when you eat too
that.
much chili. I've heard that. Science approved.
I think they saw that. I think it happened to a cowboy once, probably.
Yeah, probably. And that's how they came up with the movie Alien.
Yeah, they thought it was an alien, and then
We're just spewing bullshit now.
back to our regular programming.
All right. I got another one for you. 3 days ago,
All right.
my toddler is seeing a ghost child.
No. Why is it always the kids?
Yep. And seeing a ghost child, not just a ghost child.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I have always been a believer in the paranormal, but when spooky things happened, I could always rationalize them as a trick of the light, echoing footsteps from the neighbors, rats in the wall, etc. This was until my family moved into our current home. We have been here for 3 years, and the activity has been few and far between until the last couple of days. For context, we live in a very old house on what is most likely First Nation sacred land in outback Australia.
Oh.
And I have found what I think is a quartz spearhead in a crawl space under the house shortly after we moved in. I've heard very clear footsteps, so clear that when I was in the shower, I opened the shower door expecting my husband to come in. Similarly, while I was in the shower, something knocked on the door and I yelled out to my husband to come in, but he was in his games room with his headphones on.
Oh.
I've felt things brush up against me, warm spots in the house. My toddler's toys have started making noise out of nowhere, and I have seen things in the corner of my eyes. My toddler has also begun sleep talking, which is not surprising since my husband also sleep talks, but hubby heard him talking to something through the baby monitor at 4 a.m.
No.
And when he went to investigate, toddler was asleep and the talking had stopped. So, the other day, my toddler and I were playing with Play-Doh on the dining table when a tub of Play-Doh fell off the shelving unit. No windows were open. Nobody was near it to knock it over. It was pushed off. Nothing could explain this other than it was pushed off. I can handle a little ghostly action, but that freaked me out. This brings me to today, when my son told me that there's a ghost dada, and a ghost baby. Baby could be an infant or toddler. That's just what my little one calls little kids. That the ghost baby hides in the Play-Doh. He also said ghost dada is orange. I tried pressing for more info.
Ghost data is orange?
Yeah, he's orange, like the color orange. Like he is orange.
Okay.
I tried pressing for more information, but he wasn't interested in answering questions about them. He doesn't seem to be scared or worried, but I'm about to have a panic attack. My mom brought me some sage.
Wimpy sister.
No, literally. My mom brought me some sage a little while ago, but I'm not sure if it's appropriate. What should I do? And then literally the first comment is just sage, all undercase. Like,
Yeah. I feel like your first story was scarier.
oh yeah. This was more of like a ooh.
But it's also kind of creepy and unsettling because it's
Mhm.
never. Again, another line that you and I draw is that we'll never investigate a space that we live in.
Yeah. As of right now.
Yeah.
If we're leaving, maybe.
Oh yeah,
But-
the very last night.
Yeah, but while living there.
Yeah. No, wouldn't do it. You just don't want to know it's there. So it is creepy to know that you are living in a space with those
Mm-hmm.
things. I mean, sometimes I think I see shadows in the corner of my eye, but you know.
I see shadows in the corner of my eye like every day. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I'm like,
What
who goes there?
was that?
What was that?
It's one thing to know that it's in your house.
Yeah.
And from the story, everything seems benevolent.
But you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, this could just be the start of something. This is from 3 days ago, so it's super fresh.
Okay, yeah.
So like the Play-Doh might have fallen off the shelf like 4 or 5 days ago.
yeah.
So like who knows what's happening today is my thing. Like the possibilities of what could be happening now and in the future is
like
like
it's just ramping up.
yeah. Like, and she said like it has only started ramping up within the last couple of days, I think is what she said. Yeah, in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
That the activity has been few and far in between for the last 3 years. And now in the last couple of days, it's starting to be a regular thing.
Ooh.
So, like, who knows what's happening today there? And also, her finding an arrowhead in the crawl space and then, like, removing that,
Ooh.
I feel like could have something to do. But that was right when they moved in. So, who knows?
Yeah, it might be something to do with, like, the kid.
Mm-hmm. Is to an age now where they can sense different things and talk about it. Like,
yeah.
Because, like, sensing things is one thing. Being able to, like, comprehend
and to talk about
it is a whole other deal.
Yeah.
So, like, who knows how long stuff has been happening to this poor child.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, just recently, it's like, I've comprehended this as a small human, and now I can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of sage. Sage also salting your doorstep.
Ooh, that's a new one.
Works as a charm.
Go a little Morton's. Get a little Morton's in there.
Oh, yeah. I actually might do that after we finish recording.
I notice you keep looking over your shoulder. Am I scaring you?
Yeah. I'm also looking out the window to my balcony, too, just to make sure nothing's out there.
Oh, gosh. Well, your plant is moving, but I think that might just be the wind. Or maybe not.
All right, well, let me try to scare you.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. So this story is from a Redditor who is a service assistant in a hospital at the time of this story. I don't quite know what a service assistant does.
I could like a receptionist or like a bedside table type of service person. That's what I think of.
I could look up the job description on Indeed. But I won't for sake of time. Actually, maybe that's my question for you, audience. What is a service assistant at a hospital? What do they do?
I found it.
Okay.
If you want to know. They assist patients by setting up room service trays within reach. So, like, the people that bring, like, the food and, like, stuff like that.
Okay. So this Redditor works at a hospital in Denmark, or in this story is working at a hospital in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And within that hospital, there's a department 12-3 used only for outpatients.
Okay.
They try to use that wing of the hospital, that department, as little as possible because there's been so much activity that it is inexplicable there. So they won't have people there, patients there overnight. On their first night shift, the supervisor of the Redditor says, when you're going there, if you see something, no, you didn't. If you hear something, no, you didn't. If you smell something, no, you didn't. So Redditor's like, okay. Goes down for their first shift there. During their first shift there, they hear their supervisor calling them by name and asking for their help. The protocol in that situation is to pack up and to calmly leave the entire department and not
Acknowledge
stop everything you're doing in that department and just leave. Do not finish your work. Do not go investigate. Pack up and leave.
Weird.
The Redditor follows the protocol. And once they're in the elevator heading to a different floor or department, they page the supervisor about needing their help. And the supervisor says, don't you think I would have paged you if I needed you? So the communication wouldn't have come by voice.
Yeah, no. It would have come through a pager.
It would come from from a beep beep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So record scratch, freeze frame, wind it back.
Okay.
This is a known thing. And the reason why that is part of the protocol has to do with the supervisor's experiences when that supervisor had first started at the hospital in Denmark. So the supervisor is a man, he was cleaning department 12-3 during the night shift when he heard his own boss calling for him by name from one of the rooms. The supervisor follows, goes, finds the room where he hears his boss's voice, and in there he sees a tall, lanky man wearing a top hat. The supervisor asks,
Ew. Sorry.
in the room he sees a man.
Oh
No! Scary.
But a tall, lanky man with a top hat?
With a top hat.
Nasty.
Bad news.
Bad news. If there's a top hat involved, run.
Run. Yeah. The supervisor actually couldn't run because the guy goes, "Can I help you?" And the man in the top hat vanishes and the door slams shut and gets locked.
So he's locked in this room now.
He's locked in the room now.
Ew.
But he has a pager and pages another coworker who comes down to go grab him. And the coworker reported that the lights in the hallway were flickering as he was heading to go get the new guy. Which is also this is probably so embarrassing to have happen to you on your first day of work.
Yeah, that's a lot.
To be locked in a room by a ghost.
And say like, hey, this is what happened. And they're probably like, what?
But
they seem to believe it now for sure.
Yeah, but after the coworker gets him, they're heading back to the elevator and all of the lights are shut off.
Of course.
That's not only the haunted. It's not the only haunted wing in the hospital.
It's just the main one.
It's the main one.
Yeah.
Where I actually know a different one is the main one.
Oh God.
You don't even go in there at night.
Of course.
And in order to get in there, you have to not only swipe a badge, you have to enter in a specific code.
Why do people still work make a new hospital? Jesus.
On what land? There's no free land.
I don't know. Or you specifically moved to a new hospital.
Yeah.
That's more like it. Ugh.
But even still, those doors will open by themselves. And that's department, I think, 12-4?
Oh, so they're right next to each other. Great.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Great.
They must be the original. I'm thinking they're the original wings of the hospital.
Ugh. Well, yeah, that did freak me out a little bit. I will say that's crazy.
Man in top hat. I think your story is the scariest one.
I don't know, maybe Robert, but I don't know. Having your hand attached to the ceiling, and trying to
something that follows you, something that genuinely gets attached to you and follows you, versus I feel like the doll we would have to seek out.
Yeah, this is something that just happened to this person.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
Oh, I would call you so fast.
The veil! It's over my eyes!
It's over my eyes!
I disappeared!
Kenny, provoke it! Don't provoke it!
Don't provoke! I don't even know what I would do to help you in that situation. I'm like, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Hey, she's walking here.
Get out of here. Salt the doorstep.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of salting the doorsteps and sage. I would do that in my college house.
So at my college apartment, which is where I came up with the rule that I don't investigate where I live, because I did it there for months and bad things started to happen.
Fun.
I bought sage, okay? Mm-hmm. It disappeared.
Yeah.
It literally vanished. And I asked all my roommates. I like made them swear on their mother. I'm like, please tell me one of you guys threw this away. I won't even be mad. Just tell me you threw it away so it's not the other thing. They're like, nope, we didn't touch it. It was in your room. We didn't touch it. And it was gone without being used.
Ever?
Yep.
You gotta get it the moment. You gotta use it the moment you get it.
I know. I was like, maybe I want to talk to them more, but then no. Yeah, it got to that point.
What was happening? What was falling off?
So, the things that were happening there, I was really into like trying to speak to the paranormal through candles. So I would light a bunch of candles and they would all have like different wicks and things like that, and the flames would literally move like side to side. They would get really small and then like really tall, depending on what you would say to them. So that was like my communication with them. I also had the K2 meter at that time.
What's a K2 meter?
The EMF meter.
Oh,
so
okay.
The green to red light EMF meter
that
you have now.
Oh, it's my favorite gadget.
But I had that in there, so I would use that and the candles. Well, there was one night that I woke up at like 3 a.m, and I look on my desk where I held all of my candles at. Mm-hmm. One of the candles was slowly moving off of the desk. No! And fell off.
Oh, no.
And like at the time I was like, it's the wind or something like that. I don't know. I was trying to rationalize in my head what was going on, really. But then
was your window open?
No. God. Never. It was the wind from the window that's closed. But what really made me stop was about a month after that happened. I was still, doing my thing. And I walk in to my apartment one day and I look at my fridge, and a vase from atop the fridge was thrown off the fridge at me and shattered on the ground.
Glass one?
Yes.
Ooh.
A glass vase that was on top of the fridge, literally like angle bulleted down to where I was standing.
Oh, no.
And no one was there except for me, of course. So,
right in the line of the...
I was right in the line of fire. Thankfully, it was fine. Wasn't my vase, but my roommate was okay with it. But
it's also not your fault.
Yeah, that was a lot. So that's when I decided no more. And then anything else that happened, I blocked out of my memory. I bought the sage, it disappeared, and then I didn't say anything to any ghosts in that apartment ever again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think they went away? Do you think they...
No, I don't think they did. I think paranormal experiences have been happening my whole life. So I just think like
that'll be another podcast.
Whatever it is, it just likes to follow me around. Like, I don't think it's attached to me, but I do think that things want to come talk to me.
Do you think it's the same thing, or do you think it's different entities?
I think it's different things usually. The one at the apartment, I think, was mostly the same. Mm-hmm. And I called her Maria. That was my name for her. Yeah, I just felt like, I don't know, wherever I go, I feel like something's always happening. Mm-hmm. My newest apartment that I'm in, I felt it less, but I do see things out of the corner of my eye still. But nothing has like moved on its own or like disappeared for no reason or anything like that, which is very nice.
At least paranormally.
Yeah, at least paranormally.
You have 2 cats.
I lose crap all the time, and my cats be knocking things over. But paranormally, no, nothing crazy.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, no, we'll get on another episode. We'll get into my other crazy stories. I feel like there's not that many more, but there definitely are more.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I could even go into I'll go into my family's ghost stories too, because there's a lot of those.
Oh, that'd be great. A great next episode.
Maybe my mom can call in.
Oh, your mom would be so mad if we were telling her ghost stories. I love her.
Yeah, she'd be like, why are you talking about that? Because if you bring them up, then they want to come to you more. Nuts.
But they're kind of stuck.
Yeah, they're kind of
At her
stuck
house.
over there at her
Yeah.
house. She says I bring them. Nope, they're there.
Yeah.
They're there, girl. They're there.
Yeah, there's no way that was you bringing.
No.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. They were there.
So yeah, that's what we have for y'all today. Thanks so much for listening in. Comment if there's any topics you would like for us to cover in future episodes, or comment your favorite ghost story.
And until next time, I'm Kendall.
I'm Emily.
And this is Haunted Hanks.
Ooh.